The IRS does not chase you to hand you money. It does not call you and say, you missed a credit. It does not mail you a warning that says, you filed the wrong form. And it definitely does not rush to remind seniors that a refund window may be closing. It just waits. And that is why so many older Americans lose money they were legally entitled to claim. Not because they committed fraud, not because they were audited, not because they did anything wrong, but because they assumed that if money was owed to them, the system would automatically catch it. It often doesn't. Now, the number in this headline gets attention, but the real story is bigger than one number. Because for many seniors, the issue is not whether one exact refund amount exists. The issue is whether they missed a credit, filed the wrong return, or let the clock run out before filing the form that would have put real money back in their pocket. And that is exactly what you need to understand today. If you want plain English videos on IRS rules, senior tax issues, refunds, Social Security decisions, and deadlines that can actually affect your money, subscribe right now. This channel is built to help you understand what matters before it's too late. Now, let's get to the part most people misunderstand completely. When people hear a title like this, they imagine one hidden IRS check sitting there with their name on it, and all they need is one secret form. That is not usually how it works. Here's what most people are missing. There is no single form that automatically unlocks a standard refund for every senior. What really happens is this. Some seniors never file when they actually should have filed. Some file but miss a credit. And others file the right return but never amend an older one where money was left behind. That means the right form depends on what went wrong. Sometimes it's Form 1040 or 1040-SR because the person never filed at all. Sometimes it's Schedule R because they never checked whether they qualified for the credit for the elderly or the disabled. And sometimes it's Form 1040-X because the return was already filed, but a missed refund needs to be claimed on an amended return. That is where seniors lose money, not in one dramatic mistake, but in small filing decisions that quietly cost them hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. But that's only the beginning. Let's start with the form a lot of people talk about first, Form 1040-SR. Yes, it is real. Yes, it is designed for taxpayers age 65 and older. And yes, the IRS says seniors may choose to use it. But here's the part most channels skip. 1040-SR is not a magical refund form. It is an optional version of the regular tax return for seniors. It may help make filing easier, but using 1040-SR by itself does not guarantee that you suddenly unlock money the IRS was hiding from you. And that matters because many seniors hear you filed the wrong form and immediately think the fix is simply switching to 1040-SR. Not necessarily. The real issue is often what was missing from the return, not just the version of the return itself. And that brings us to the form hardly anyone talks about, even though for some seniors, it matters far more. If you are 65 or older, or retired on permanent and total disability, one of the forms you should at least be aware of is Schedule R. Schedule R is used to figure the credit for the elderly or the disabled. Now here's where things get interesting. A lot of seniors assume that because they already take Social Security, already use the standard deduction, or already owe little or no tax, there is nothing else to check. That assumption is exactly where people get blindsided. Because some credits are not about whether you feel like your return is simple. They are about whether the return was actually reviewed for the credits and conditions that apply to older taxpayers. And here is the dangerous part. Many people never even ask if Schedule R was considered. They trust the software. They trust the preparer. They trust the routine. But routine is where missed money hides. Now, does every senior qualify? No. Does every senior get a refund from it? Also no. But if you never checked, then you do not know whether a credit was missed. And that is the problem. And the reality is even more significant if you already filed in prior years. This is where the stakes go up fast. The IRS generally gives taxpayers a limited window to claim a refund or credit, typically 3 years from filing the return, or 2 years from paying the tax, whichever is later. Read that again. This is not an open-ended system where you can wake up 6 years later and decide to collect whatever you forgot. There is a clock. And once that clock runs out, the money does not sit there waiting forever. It's gone. That is why this issue matters so much to seniors who didn't file because they thought Social Security meant they didn't need to, filed but never checked for senior-specific credits, or changed preparers and assumed the old returns were already perfect. Because once a missed refund crosses that deadline, the conversation changes from "how do I claim this" to "why didn't anyone catch this in time?" And that is not where you want to be. But here's the twist. Even if the original return was already filed, the story may not be over. If a prior return was filed and something was missed, the key form is often Form 1040-X, the amended return. This is where a lot of seniors mentally shut down because amended return sounds complicated, risky, or expensive. But here's what most people are missing. An amended return is not some exotic legal maneuver. It is the standard IRS process for correcting a filed return. If a credit was missed, income was reported incorrectly, or a filing position needs to be fixed, this is usually how that gets done. So if someone tells you you're too late because you already filed, that is not automatically true. The better question is, did you file the right return the first time? And if not, are you still inside the deadline to correct it? That is the question that determines whether money can still be recovered. And for many seniors, that answer is worth more than anything promised in a flashy thumbnail. Let me make this practical. There are 3 groups of seniors who are most likely to leave money on the table. Group 1, the non-filer. This is the senior who says, "Most of my income is Social Security, so I don't file." Sometimes that is fine. Sometimes it means a refund opportunity was never even claimed. Group 2, the routine filer. This person files every year, often with the same preparer or the same software, and assumes everything is automatically optimized. That confidence is understandable. It is not always justified. Group 3, the overwhelmed widow, widower, or recent retiree. Income changed, filing status changed, paperwork changed, life changed. And during that transition, credits and correction opportunities often get missed. If you are in any one of those groups, the biggest mistake you can make is assuming this video is for someone else, because that assumption is exactly how refund windows close. Now let's talk about what to do safely. First, do not assume every viral refund video is accurate. The IRS specifically warns taxpayers to be careful with big payday refund claims and bad social media tax advice. Second, pull your last few returns and check 3 things. Did you file a return at all? If you filed, was Schedule R ever considered? If something looks missed, are you still within the refund claim deadline to file 1040-X? Third, if you need help, use free, trusted programs, especially TCE for people age 60 and older and VITA for qualifying taxpayers. These are official IRS-backed programs, and they exist for exactly this kind of situation. That is how you do this the smart way. No panic, no fake promises, no mystery tax guru. Just the right documents, the right form, and the right deadline. And that brings us to the one takeaway that matters more than everything else in this video. The IRS refund system is reactive. That means money does not move just because you deserved it. It moves when the correct return, credit, or amendment is actually filed. That is why seniors lose money. Not always because they were ineligible, not always because they made some huge mistake, but because they assumed the system would catch what they missed. It usually won't. So if you are over 65 or helping a parent, spouse, or older relative with taxes, do not focus only on the number in the headline. Focus on the real questions. Was the correct return filed? Was the right credit checked? And is there still time to fix it? Because the form you do not file is often the refund you do not get. If this helped you, send it to one senior in your life. I'll see you in the next one.